felices de darles la bienvenida a esta conversación con el elenco de Atlas, que es esta nueva e increíble película de acción y ciencia ficción protagonizada por Jennifer Lopez, que estrena pues, en Netflix este 24 de mayo. Atlas es una película que nos sumerge en una fascinante carrera contra el tiempo, en donde la tecnología y la inteligencia artificial son las protagonistas de la historia. Pues tenemos el gusto de que el día de hoy nos acompañe este elenco maravilloso que le da vida a los personajes, que quizá vivan en un futuro posible, pero que tienen muchos problemas con los que estoy segura que todos nos vamos a identificar. Así que por favor, démosle la bienvenida a la mente detrás de este proyecto, el director Brad Peyton. Hola, Brad. Bueno, está también con nosotros el maravilloso Simu Liu. Hola, Simu. Y por supuesto la icónica Jennifer Lopez.
When I was doing Atlas, but Terminator 2 with Linda Hamilton. I don't know if you guys remember that film, but for me, she was the baddest of the baddest bitches ever. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember being in the theater, watching it in New York, like, oh my God, I want to be her so bad. I'm going to be an actress and that's what I'm going to do. And I didn't really ever get to do it when I was younger. And so now to be able to do something like it, it's not exactly that, but you know, that type of character. The other character that I really loved and that Brad and I spoke about very much while we were filming was Ripley in Alien. Sigourney Weaver. So those two for me were the most iconic kind of sci-fi action movie characters that
I mean playing Harlan as an artificial intelligence, I think there's a lot of blueprints out there. I think starting from Kubrick in 2001, even like the voice of Hal, who is so kind of even-keeled and chilling. And then, you know, I was a huge Star Trek fan growing up, so I loved Brent Spiner as Data. I thought was phenomenal, and so I just tried to take, although those are all kind of friendly AIs, but I tried to take that voice and that kind of friendly disposition and kind of warp it in a way to make it unsettling and a little terrifying.
Yeah, that even tone is the thing that is kind of the scary. I mean, technology is advancing all the time, and there's a lot of it that makes me nervous. I mean, you know, when you think about artificial intelligence, and even this movie itself kind of does a good job of showing both sides of the story. Which is kind of what can go really, really right with AI and how we can really use them to be a greater version of ourselves in a way, and then how it can go really, really wrong with like Simu's character, where they can destroy and take over and kind of obliterate humanity. So I think right now, for me, when I think about it, it's a big question, right? There's an idea of like, we have to have a lot of respect when it comes to artificial intelligence. It's just like any technology. I remember in the music business when the internet came around and everybody was like, oh, it's never gonna take over music. And it was like, okay, well that happened. And so you just have to really be open to the fact that there's gonna be changes all the time, and not changes that some people can predict, and some people just can't foresee because we get so stuck in our own reality. But yeah, I think it's about respecting it and not letting it kind of take over in any way, but using it to aid us in the best ways that it can. I have butterflies right now. I always have butterflies. I don't think, it ever gets old to me, no matter how long I've been in this business. I always feel the excitement of doing what I do and being able to be blessed to do what I do. For me, it is a huge, privilege to be able to find something so young that I was so passionate about in entertaining and performing and singing and dancing and acting and producing, and be able to be doing that my whole life. And so, yes, I still get butterflies. I'm more at home, actually, believe it or not, on stage in front of, 30,000 people than I am in a room like this. You know what I mean? I'm more at home in, on the set, in a little 2x2 with a green screen behind me and make-believing I'm falling through the planets.
I can attest to that.
Acting crazy and, have my adrenaline at 100 and really acting and, just putting myself in another realm. I feel very comfortable in those situations, I guess because I've been doing it a long time.
I think it shows. I mean, I think we were remember on our content day when we were reviewing your Super Bowl footage, and I was just like, you're one of the best to ever do it. To ever do it, period. It's amazing. The question was, what is it like to work with Jennifer Lopez, one of the most iconic performers of our generation and of all time?
I'm sorry.
It was great. I remember one of the first days I showed up to set, and my part in the movie, as the villain, I come in a little bit later, but I come to set and I'm like, hey Jen, how are you? She was so she just seemed like such a trooper in that little canopy where she and Smith resided for so much of the movie, and I was like, hey, how's it going? She's like, I've been here for 6 weeks. How are you? And I'm like, well, I have no right to complain. I mean, no, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was inspirational. I definitely had butterflies, showing up to set, knowing that I was gonna have to work with her. In my mind, she's always made in Manhattan, Jen. So it was tough for me to get into the mindset of trying to kill her. It was very not what I would say would be my natural state, but it was incredible. It was incredible, and I've so appreciated getting to know her better over the course of even promoting this movie as well.
It's been so fun. I mean, it's just like with anything when you're approaching it as an actress, you try to find the similarities to things that you have gone through in your own life, but also kind of your imagination, especially in a movie like this where there's tons of green screen, your imagination has to kind of run wild. And that's a big part of being an actor. And I think with Atlas, there was parts of her that were very similar to me. She's driven, she's strong, she's focused, she's passionate. And then there was parts of her that were very different from me. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and she was very closed off and didn't want to let anybody in. And it was just, for me, preparing for that and doing that, it was something that was very easy for me to kind of draw from my own life in a way. Different relationships and different things that I've been through, for sure. Yeah, I remember somebody was saying that Jodie Foster, when she did Contact, said that was the hardest acting that she ever had to do because she just had to do it by herself and she had to use her whole imagination, and that's just what it was. And I remember thinking, when I read the script, oh, esto va a ser muy fácil. This is gonna be an easy job for me. It's gonna be me by myself. I'm gonna, I don't have to wait for anybody. I get to show up, do my thing, couple of takes, go home. And it was so exhausting to kind of stay at this level of adrenaline of like, your life is over, you have to save the planet, you're in a life and death situation the whole entire time, that at the end of the day, I would just be so exhausted, not just emotionally, but physically, like from just like tensing up my body and throwing myself this way and that way and doing all these things and trying to concentrate and seeing things that weren't there and all these kinds of stuff. So I would walk home every day what I would call the tired limp, which is, you're limping. Usually you limp because you're hurt, but when you limp because you're tired, you're kind of like just a limp from being exhausted. That's how I walk to my trailer every single night. So
I feel so bad right now.
It was exhausting, but it was also exhilarating in a lot of ways because it was a new type of thing that I had never done. I think Atlas is a great character. I think because of all of the toughness that she shows initially and all of the kind of fearlessness about going against kind of the powers that be, which is what you have to be a woman. That's what it is to be a woman. You have to kind of go against the grain. You have to fight harder. You have to do these things. But also for her tremendous vulnerability and her tremendous kind of pain that she carries. I feel that as women, that is a big part of our journey as well. And she represents both sides of that in a really beautiful way, I think. And where she gets to at the end, having started where she started, and then Smith kind of chipping away at her, getting inside that hard exterior that she's had to have her whole life because everybody thinks she's crazy, nobody wants to listen to her. This is like experience that women have all the time, and I can understand and relate to that, and I know a lot of other women can too, especially in my own business, you're criticized, you're put down, you're laughed at when you don't, succeed, and then when you succeed, they want to tear it down. There's always this thing as a woman, and especially as a Latina, to kind of in this business, to be taken seriously, to be working at the highest echelons of your industry, and what that comes with. And I think Atlas really represents all of the greatest parts of women: their vulnerability and their strength and courage.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Dime, ¿qué te pasa?
It's real. Your divorce, Ben Affleck, is real.
Okay, we're not doing that. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
You know better than that.
Come on, don't come in here with that energy, please. Thank you so much.
Gracias, muchas gracias a todos. Llegamos ya al final de la conferencia de prensa. No olviden, por favor, bajar sus
You know what doesn't, I feel like, actually get mentioned enough, if I could just end on one thing, is that Jen is a producer on this movie.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm here and the reason why Sterling was in this beautiful movie is because Jen cares. And Jen cares about things like representation and diversity. And she's a boss. And she's an incredible creative and icon, and that's what I think we should celebrate her for today.
Gracias. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias a Brad Payton, muchas gracias a Simu Liu y también a Jennifer Lopez, por supuesto. Gracias. Recuerden que
Thank you guys. Los quiero. Gracias. Nadie me preguntó nada en español, pero ok.
Canta, Jennifer.